The word for you today, this Saturday. This is one of those other guys should have gotten, but anyway, I ended up with it. Are you hooked on pornography? Job chapter 31, verse 1. Job says, I made a covenant with my eyes not to look lustfully at a girl. Job's trying to understand why he's undergoing all the things he's gone through. He's lost his kids. He's lost his possessions. He's lost his home. He's lost his health. He's lost everything except his wife. And she's telling him to curse God and die. But he's trying to understand why he's going through all these things. What has he done wrong? He's just kind of going through the list. And he says, I made a covenant with my eyes not to look lustfully at a girl, and I haven't done that. Why am I being punished so much? This is an area our world is failing in incredibly. Pornography is a multi-billion-dollar industry. Adultery, the sex slave market, both are rampant. And it's so many people, particularly young people, don't understand the hook that pornography can have in a person. Satan uses that to get a stronghold in somebody, and then he just keeps feeding it. So how do we keep, or how can we help others keep from getting hooked on pornography or lusting after others? We're going to look at this from a man's point of view because I think men probably generally have a harder time dealing with this than women do. First of all, it starts with glance. It's impossible not to notice a good-looking woman. That's not really where the problem lies. Good-looking woman walks by and you notice her. Yeah, she's a beautiful woman. That's not the problem. Part two, gaze, where you follow her with your eyes. That's where the problem comes in. Matthew chapter 5, verse 27 and 28 says, Jesus is talking, he says, you have heard that it was said, do not commit adultery. But I tell you that anyone who looks at a woman lustfully has already committed adultery with her in his heart. What is he saying? He's saying there's nothing wrong with noticing that a woman is a beautiful woman or this man is a good-looking man. There's nothing wrong with that. What's wrong is when we start gazing and fixing our attention on them, which moves us to number 3. God would not tell us not to lust if he didn't give us the power to avoid it. God says, do not lust. And then God says, I will give you the strength not to do that. So when we go ahead as a believer, if we glance and then we gaze and we fix our eyes on that person, we're pushing God off to the side and say, God, I got this. I'll take care of this. Romans chapter 6, verses 12 to 14 tell us so much about this. It says, therefore, do not let sin reign in your mortal body so that you obey its evil desires. Jesus died on the cross to set us free from the power of sin. It says, don't let sin reign in your mortal bodies so that you obey its evil desires. It says, do not offer the parts of your body to sin as instruments of wickedness, but rather offer yourselves to God as those who have been brought from death to life, and offer the parts of your body to him as instruments of righteousness. For sin shall not be your master, because you are not under law, but under grace. What is he saying? He's saying, notice, okay, but linger, don't linger. And he says, God says, I have given you what you need to overcome that temptation. So honor me and don't give in to the enemy. Casting Crowns is a very popular singing group, and they wrote a song, and I would sing it, but that would destroy the song. So I'm going to read the words. Listen to the message of this song. It says, be careful, little eyes, what you see. It's the second glance that ties your hands as darkness pulls the strings. Be careful, little feet, where you go, for it's the little feet behind you that are sure to follow. Get that? The little feet behind. There are young ones watching. It's a slow fade when you give yourself away. It's a slow fade when black and white have turned to gray. Thoughts invade, choices are made, a price will be paid when you give yourself away. People never crumble in a day. It's a slow fade, It's a slow fade. Be careful, little ears, what you hear. When flattery leads to compromise, the end is always near. Be careful, little lips, what you say, for empty words and promises lead broken hearts astray. It's a slow fade when you give yourself away. It's a slow fade when black and white have turned to gray. Thoughts invade, choices are made, a price will be paid. When you give yourself away, people never crumble in a day. The journey from your mind to your hands is shorter than your thinking. Be careful if you think you stand, you just might be sinking. It's a slow fade when you give yourself away. It's a slow fade when black and white have turned to gray. Thoughts invade, choices are made, a price will be paid when you give yourself away. People never crumble in a day. Daddies never crumble in a day. Families never crumble in a day. Have a good day.